KT's have it back in the joint. Now he's back on point. He's finally home. He's Tyrone.
It's Tyrone.
He's
All right,
Tyrone.
people. How are we doing out there, YouTube land? The wonderful MCU'S Bleeding Edge here tonight. We are rocking out episode 4 of the Willow Disney Plus TV series. We're going to be talking about this episode, of course, in Bleeding Edge style. As you know, how we always keep our titles with that Bleeding Edge style, baby. Oh, yeah. So we're going to get right into that episode and talk about it. But, of course, we want to go around the table here and introduce everyone. Of course, as always, I have my loyal co-host, Mr. Jeff S. TrueKnowledge here. How we doing, Jeff?
You know it, baby. Willow episode 4, bitch. What up?
Yep. All right, so welcome. And then we have, for the first time with me on here, but has done a few things with Jeff already, joining our podcast for this Willow Disney Plus series, is Brittany. Welcome, Brittany.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. It's excellent to have you here. We're glad to have you a part of this episode. All right. So before we move on, was there anything, Brittany, that you do you have a podcast that you do, or any videos that you would like to mention before we get into this, just so people kind of can familiarize themselves with you a little bit?
Yeah, I'm on a podcast with my other podcast mates called Tip of the Tongue, which I'm super excited about. You got to check us out, y'all, twice a week. And then I also have my own YouTube page, as well as my TikTok and Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on all major social media channels at The Brittany Nicole. So I'm super excited to be here and review Willow.
Excellent. Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, definitely check out her stuff, people. Yeah. All right. So
I love that. Yeah, Cyber.
I'm glad you like it. At least somebody likes it. Oh, that's nice to know. Anyways,
appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Anyways, so moving on with the episode. So basically, this episode starts out pretty strong, I feel. It's basically we get, of course, the recap that starts us off, of course. And then we also have kind of going into the castle. We learn a little bit more about the castle, what they're doing there. We kind of see them all kind of hang out in the main entrance area. And basically they have Graydon chained up because, of course, he was stabbed the last time we saw him at the end of the last episode. And he basically is now possessed by whatever the demon that is in him. And I think that it's quite interesting how they kind of left it where really not having him in the previous episode, nothing really was happening to him. And they kind of chose this whole episode kind of lead and leave with all that information going on all at once in that whole episode, which I thought was really interesting how they played that out. And I think that how it starts off a little bit is kind of interesting, just with them chaining him up and stuff like that. They're thinking ahead and making sure that they have him secure, because they saw what happened with the previous, people that were unfortunately possessed by the crone. And so we kind of get this really cool, kind of sequence there where it shows them getting him all ready. And basically, they haven't said yet what they're going to do, but they're just kind of getting him set up, getting him knowing that he's going to change and all that kind of stuff. And basically safeguard themselves from him, and I think that how they did that was really fun. But anyways, just to let people know, the name of this episode is called The Whispers of Nockmaar. That's right, Whispers of Nockmaar. And I think that's kind of a cool name. I mean, Nockmaar, I believe, is the name of that castle, if I remember correctly. And which we end up finding out that this is actually Bavmorda's abandoned castle there. And basically they really had no choice but to go into the castle because it was, basically raining out, and they didn't want to catch a cold and get sick or die. And because of Graydon being injured, they didn't want him to get any worse than he was. So basically it goes in, like I said, it shows him, they have him all chained up and stuff like that. And They're trying to decide what to do. So each of them kind of start going and looking around the castle themselves, and kind of, examining things and stuff like that, seeing what's going on. Basically, they end up coming up with the idea to exorcise Graydon to get that Lynch's demonic influence out of him. And, basically Willow needs the help from Kit and Laura to be able to do that. Basically, as we move on, we get that little brief sequence where Kit and Jade are talking. She basically kind of empathizes, with her about her having to kill Valentine. And, of course, basically they kind of, Jade's like, well, you really, just like Boromir said, you really haven't had to kill somebody, so you don't really know what I'm going through. And, they kind of have like a little bit of like a spat there, but not really. And they kind of leave it at that. But before we move on past that, let's just talk a little bit about this beginning sequence a little bit. What were you guys' thoughts on this beginning sequence and how it kind of rolls out? What was something that you enjoyed about it or you thought was interesting? Was there anything maybe you noticed somebody else didn't? And just what were your overall thoughts of kind of this beginning sequence to, kind of the beginning entrance to this episode? Let's start with you, Brittany.
Brittany.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now,
Okay. So I really enjoyed the fact that they worked together as a group to try to get through it and go on this journey throughout this castle, kind of like a treasure hunt. And they had to go and find these different items in order to save their comrade. That part I really liked. And also, I didn't quite understand the dynamics of their relationship in terms of the complexity, because I can see that there's layers within it. That part I'm still trying to figure it out.
okay. Anything else about that beginning entrance to this episode? Anything else pop out or anything like that?
Willow stepping up and tying him, saying we need to chain him down, saying that. I never really expected that of Willow, having that side to him. I was like, yo, he is really intense right now. He's like, yeah, we're going to chain him down and that's it. I don't know what else you have to say about it, but that's what we're going to do. So there you go.
Yeah, most definitely. I definitely agree there because from the previous couple episodes, Willow seemed kind of like lost, or he didn't seem like the Willow we remember from the end of the Willow film, being more confident in himself and stuff like that. So I think it's nice to finally see kind of Willow, kind of get to that and become more, stronger and becoming more of that Willow we remember from the end of the film.
Yeah, finding more of himself.
Yeah, most definitely finding himself.
Being that
I totally
protector.
agree. Exactly. All right. So Jeff, same question to you, sir.
Well, I mean, maybe fucking Willow got domed by She-Hulk too, man. You know what I'm saying? You never know. Like, maybe She-Hulk fucking got him real quick, and that, that diminished him. You know what I'm saying? He's not quite, the Willow we used to know. I love and whatnot and shit, right? It'll happen to you, I mean, I'm going to be forever affected by the She-Hulk, not me. Honestly, they should make a what's it called? They should make a Lifetime movie out of it. It'd be great, I think, for Lifetime, personally. But I want to just really quick just shout out all of Britt's friends for coming on. Hey, Felecia, you better bring your ass on here next Friday and whatnot and do Willow episode 5. I'm telling you right now, I don't want to hear no bullshit. And shout out to Jermaine. Appreciate you, Jermaine, for introducing me to Britt and Felecia and all these wonderful people. And what up, Joss? How you doing, hun? My fellow stoner TBI survivor friend. And your mind is a freaking castle, huh? Well, you know what? That's fabulous. Anyway, so no, basically, I agree with you, Cyber, that how do you say his name? Tony Gilvarori, that plays Graydon, Prince Graydon.
Tony Ravioli.
Okay.
Rivoli. It's actually Rivoli. It's Rivoli, not
I was gonna
Ravioli.
say, seriously, Ravioli? Ravioli? Come on.
No,
Come on.
Rivoli. Rivoli.
Okay. All right. So no, he like I like him. He's actually pretty solid in this. You know, and the only thing that was a little bit confusing to me at first was it took me a minute to gather what exactly, like what was the castle they were in, kind of, you know what I mean, like, you know, like and then I you know, I realized as they were talking that they were in Bamber's former castle. So I take it then that like Nakmar was Bamber's like city or capital city or something like that, or where she was like at.
Yeah, it's the castle that was in the first film.
Ah, okay. So no, basically, I mean, you know, it was the intro was your typical kind of, you know, slow paced kind of, I guess, suppositional type of, like, you know, introduction to, you know, to your typical episode of this series so far. And one thing I noticed is that although I don't think that this was a bad episode or this has been a bad series, this cast together as a group, right, when they're all amongst each other and whatnot and everything, there's not much chemistry there. Like, there's not much like working there and whatnot and everything in terms of they seem kind of disjointed in a way, like it's in terms of how they go off each other with their lines and whatnot and everything. Even like the Jade Kit relationship is kind of, I don't know, like I think that I personally think that Erin Kellyman can act and whatnot. Like, I think she's probably been the best actress out of like the female characters on the show so far. Like, she's been the best one, I think. Like, she can handle her business. She proved that in Falcon the Winter Soldier. But the actress that plays Kit, Ruby Cruz, she just doesn't do it for me. Like, she doesn't, you know, not that authentic to me. But basically, as far as the intro goes, I mean, you basically understood what was going to be happening in the episode in like the first 3 minutes of the episode, right? Like, it was pretty clear what the whole fucking episode was going to be about. And, you know, beyond that, there really wasn't anything that stood out or anything to me and whatnot. Borman is the only character that actually adds any humor at all to the show whatsoever. Like, he's on his own. You know what I'm saying? And, like, you know, they're not giving him much to work with writing wise, really, for him to be that funny, unfortunately. I don't blame him. I blame the writing personally. You know, I think that this series, I think, is suffering to some extent, just like Rings of Power did, with just writing that's kind of like 50-50 at times. You know, so that's all. I don't want to slam anything or say, you know, the intro was bad, but it set a very slow pace. And, you know, I feel like with this being episode 4, how many episodes are we going to get altogether, Cyber? 8?
I believe
8. So it just seems like,
yeah,
I guess
8. Yep.
Yeah. So okay, so I guess it makes sense that episode 4 is like would be a sandwich episode in an 8 episode series. It would be kind of like a filler type episode. You would expect that kind of probably in episode 4 or 5 or something like that. So we got one here, basically, right? This was a filler episode. So that's it was. So that's it.
All right, thank you. And I just to throw it out there, I mean, yeah, you could definitely tell this was kind of a filler episode, but I thought it was a decent filler episode for the fact that they kept it interesting and given us like this whole process where they're trying to depossess, you know, Graydon. And I think that was a really cool. And then we got a lot of like these cool kind of factoids throughout the episode, giving you kind of more information into bringing you to the original film. I mean, we got a lot of images from, you know, original film with, you know, Mad Morta and, you know, baby Laura Dannon and stuff like that. So I think that was a really clever idea, and to keep referencing the original film, which was really smart, I thought, on its part. So yeah, most definitely. Thank you. All right. So moving on. So after the sequence where, you know, basically, you know, Jade mourns Valentine's passing, her and Kit have the, you know, kind of the little talk. basically she ends up. It kind of goes and it shows Boardman, and he's kind of walking around the castle, and he all of a sudden starts hearing voices come from a certain part room as he's walking by, and he notices a giant door, and so he goes over the door and is trying to basically unlock it and figure it out. And he keeps hearing voices, and he's like, I'm trying. I heard you guys. Yeah, exactly what. And so basically, then that's when he goes back to the big room where Graydon and Alora and Willow are and stuff, and they're all sitting in there, and they've come to the conclusion where they're gonna have to basically come up with this potion, and basically to get rid of this demon out of Graydon instead of just killing him, because that's one thing that we noticed throughout the episode, and even prior to this, we heard them talking about, oh, we're gonna have to kill him, and everyone keeps saying to Kit, like, you don't even know how to kill somebody, so stop talking about it, basically, and giving her a hard time about that. And which I agree, like, you've never killed a person in life. You're a princess. You don't even know what actual fighting's like. You barely just found out some in the previous episode. So, it's like, just like, Jade said in their little, talking sequence, you don't really know what it's like. And so then we go to, they say, oh, we got to do this. And so basically Willow sends Kit to get the different ingredients that he needs to do this spell. So then it goes, excuse me, and it basically shows Jade, and she's kind of looking out of one of the windows in the castle, and Boromir comes walking by and is like muttering some stuff, and he's like, I've been trying to get into this room and I can't figure it out. I'm usually pretty good at this. And basically him and Jade kind of have a little bit of conversation. Basically he kind of consoles her in her grief with still processing her having to kill Valentine. And he says, Valentine would have he would have told you the exact same thing. This is just what had to happen, and you did the best you could. You're representing what you're supposed to be to become this knight. And basically she kind of iterates that she's like, I've always wanted to just become this knight and work for my queen or king and stuff like that, and just do this. And basically they have that kind of nice little sentiment there. And then it goes and it shows Kit as she's looking and searching for things. She's like grabbing different bottles and vials and stuff for the potion and stuff like that. And then it goes back again to the kind of the throne room for a second, and shows them kind of prepping and getting, Graydon ready to do this thing. They open his shirt and they see all this scarring on him, and he had like this disease when he was younger, and it was pretty bad, but it, unfortunately, thankfully it didn't kill him. And of course we see him, he's kind of in pain because the demonic possession happening, and they're getting all things ready and stuff like that to go on with this spell. So as that happens, so it goes back to Kit for a second, and as she's searching some more for more of the ingredients, she finds what she can, and then she goes back and she gives them the ingredients, and they basically create like this paste thing. But there's an ingredient that she couldn't find, and so they tell her, well, this is what we can't do the spell without this ingredient, otherwise the spell won't work. And so that she needs to go and search some more. And so she goes back to searching, and when she goes back to searching, all of a sudden she starts having visions, basically, and she starts seeing Bab Morda, and basically seeing her, her grandmother, and kind of becoming a part of the Six, as they talk about in this episode, the blood of the Six, and that she was the most powerful person with these powers that ever has had, these powers that were given to her by the blood of the Six, which is basically a part of the crone. And as she's looking at like a tapestry, and it starts showing these vision stuff, and she hears her grandmother talking and taking the oath and becoming this most powerful thing. And then she goes and she starts seeing other visions of her grandmother a little bit, and it kind of freaks her out. And as it's freaking her out, that's when she basically comes across finding the the jar of the possum that she needed. And basically at some point while she's like having these things, she ends up dropping and breaking the glass, but still is able to receive the possum from the pile of glass and is able to take it back to them. And they basically go back. She brings it back to them after seeing all those different images for a second. And they basically take the possum, cut it open, take out, I think it was the stomach or the spleen or something. And they basically chop it up and put it into the mixture. So before we move on with that, let's talk about that little sequence of the episode. So what were you guys' thoughts on the Boromir Jade kind of conversation? What did you think about the conversation between or basically Kit learning more about her grandmother from those visions? And just what was your thoughts on that little process of the episode? And was there anything you found interesting or found enlightening, or that might have talked about the actual movie from the 80s? Starting with you, Brittany.
So what I really enjoyed out of all of those scenes were two. The one with the warrior who's hilarious. What's his name?
Boromir.
Boromir?
Borman.
Borman. I love Borman. He's like their Val Kilmer, because Val Kilmer always had something hilarious to add to the movie.
Good point, Brett.
And so I really enjoy him. I wish that they would have him do more with his character. I don't feel like they're doing enough, like what you were saying, Jeff. There's not enough commentary happening within him and the other characters. They could do so much more with him, and they're not doing enough. So that was a little frustrating. But I enjoyed watching him find the door and try to get the door open. The other part that stood out to me was between Kit and her grandmother, having her have that realization of, wait a minute, this is happening right now. I have more within me than I thought. It's kind of like a coming together moment of who she actually is, because she's still on this journey trying to find herself, having to marry this man, but really probably being in love with somebody else, having to try to find her brother, but at the same time, she still resents her brother, finding out now that her grandmother is who she is, and how powerful she was, and how this power is within her, was like really interesting. Because I mean, you're a teenager and you're starting to hear voices. That's crazy. She's like, what the shit is happening right now? What the shit? And so having her go through that journey, I thought was really dope.
Nice. And what did you think about the Jade and Boromir scene? Like that, him kind of consoling her. What did you think about that sequence?
So I thought that was kind of forced. It didn't really seem natural for his character. At least I know he has that side to him, but it just kind of seemed a little forced to me.
Okay. Forrest and like they didn't need that scene in the episode. Forrest, like
I don't think they needed the scene, as well as the acting between the two of them there's no real connection.
Okay.
There's no real chemistry amongst them. So it's all kind of a little awkward when you're seeing them interact on those one-on-one levels.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. Most definitely in that sequence, especially Boromir, because like how he comes in and then how he kind of goes into it, you can see that he's definitely more interested in the door and more interested in doing something else, but he sees how she's like, and he's trying to do that. So yeah, most definitely I can see where you're going with that. And I completely agree. All right. Thank you. Jeff, same question, sir.
Well, I would have been, instead of fucking with the door, I would have been forcing myself into like somehow having sex with her and whatnot, or some shit real quick and whatnot. I think that's what she needed. You know what I'm saying? Was just some good deed real quick. You know what I mean? Just to kind of, change things up. You feel me, Brittany?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on now. When you're hanging out, in some spooky ass castle with spirits.
But Jeff, it looks dirty in there. I don't think she wanted to do that in there. It's a little grimy.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I'd take my t-shirt off and put it on the ground.
He barely has clothes on. His clothes don't even look clean. She's not about to do that. Come on now.
Well, either way, bottom line, no, I would second what Britt said, and I appreciate Britt backing me on the lack of the chemistry between some of the characters that they're trying to pair together one-on-one and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, like honestly, the during this part of the episode, we're back to the whole deal with Willow and like the magic and Laura and everything and whatnot and all that. And now that's just not doing anything for me either. Like I'm not getting anything out of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing entertaining about it. Like, I mean, they're in a fucking castle, in like a basement. How the fuck would you be able to find random shit to be able to make a potion or some shit or whatever, or some kind of like medicine or whatever or whatnot in that situation? Like, what kind of resources would you really have at hand at that point? You're in a castle. Like, so it's just, I mean, that was a little bit far-fetched to me. But I'm sorry. Is it L? That was just a joke. I don't know if that's exactly what she needed. She may not have needed that. I could be wrong. So I just want to be clear. I'm not 100% accurate with that. I haven't talked to her personally. But well, maybe and down the road that'll happen. But either way, no. Basically, I feel like Warwick Davis as Willow Upgood was great in the Willow film only because like he had Val Kilmer there. You know what I'm saying? To be Matt Mardigan, and Val's like humor and his energy, right? Like and his wit and like his acting and whatnot and everything. It carried the movie to some extent and whatnot, and gave it a certain energy and whatnot. He was a certain character that he made Willow better. He made Warwick Davis better as Willow. It was a good contrast, right? Like their dynamic, it worked, it fit. And I give Val credit on that. I do. I think he's a good actor, and like he made that work. And I'll give Warwick Davis credit too. But I feel like this is too much for them to put on him in this series. And this scenes we're talking about right now and whatnot, he's basically being forced to like lead this team almost. Where, look, anytime you have a team, I mean, let's think about this. In episode 1, they put this team together in what, less than 17 seconds? The majority of people don't even know anything about it. They don't even know each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, they never even fucking talked to each other before in their life. And that's the team? And then some dude from jail? Like, okay, you know what I mean? And he's the best one? Like, I mean, come on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's bad enough that Kit is a cunt to begin with, but like, she's certainly not going to be a good team player, like when she doesn't even know anybody. But no, no problem, Al. But no, I just feel like it's and you can tell me what you think, Cyber, if I'm overreaching, but I feel like in these scenes you're talking about, they're just putting way too much responsibility on Warwick Davis to be as Willow, to sort of anchor the scenes in a way, right? Like they're having Borman do also in his scenes to some extent. He's anchoring them, right? To some extent. And I just don't feel like he has that kind of charisma. If that makes sense, I don't feel like he has that kind of disposition or personality as an actor to where it comes off in a way where it's not bad. It's just not great. And at that point, they did try to inject some humor into the whole thing. As Graydon's like dying or whatever, they do crack some jokes. There is some humor. And like Graydon's even cracking jokes and shit. And he's very selfless during that whole thing. I found that very interesting and whatnot and everything. We may have already talked, you already may have already asked about this, Cyber, but when they actually propose, Kit of all people proposes just killing him. Just like Jade killed, Valentine and whatnot. That came out of nowhere. Like right off jump, she's like, let's just kill him. I was like, what the fuck? Like, geez, give the guy a minute here, man. Like, seriously, why don't you at least think about like some kind of plan here? Like, just kill him. But the dude was just like, Graydon was like, yeah, she's right. You should just kill me. So like, hey, props to him. I mean, I guess, for not wanting to like hurt anybody else on the squad. But in terms of Cyber, what was the end of the scenes you were talking about? Are you talking about right when they're trying to concoct the medicine or the antidote or whatnot for the infection?
Correct.
Okay.
So right when after Kit has her visions, before we go to Alora's visions, she grabs that wonderful possum that was fermenting and brings it to them, and they basically cut it open, take out to make the potion. We're right there.
What the hell was that thing they pulled out of it? It looked like a chicken heart or something.
It was like I said, I think it was either its stomach or its spleen or something where, basically whatever food it digested, that's what they needed, whatever possums they said completely eat. And it was in its digestive tract somewhere. So either one of those they pulled out to be able to get that berry to be able to put into the potion.
Okay, well, now, I really didn't understand how, like, one thing they didn't really explain, how does this guy, the Lich, do this shit to people? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why, how is he able, why is it what he did, why is what he did to Graydon different than what he did to Valentine? Like, can he change how he infects people? Like, I mean, that part I've never really understood is how does he, like, what he did to Graydon is different. Like what he did to Graydon, like, is like, is it the same things essentially? Cyber?
They both were stabbed.
Okay, so it was the same deal then.
Yeah.
All right. So basically then, Valentine went through the same crap that he was going through in this episode before he turned.
But did he go through that at a younger age?
Well, Graydon does because he's younger, but like Valentine, what happened to Valentine just happened like, in their timeline, that just happened like less than a week ago.
I thought Graydon was possessed as a child. That's where the scars came from.
Yeah, we learned that later in the episode.
Okay.
We didn't get to that part yet.
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to explain that one to me because I didn't know he was possessed. I didn't get that part. But so basically, again, what I found was basically just that it was too simplistic. Like that trope is so played out. Like, oh, we're just gonna go find a magic potion real quick and whatnot and everything. It's gonna heal them and all that shit. Now they did do a good job of making it look pretty graphic, and like they did make it look make him look pretty sick and pretty deathly and whatnot and everything when they were throwing the potions on him and shit and everything. Now probably the best part of me for the whole episode was actually the flashbacks or like the whatever the hell that was, the visions or whatever that was or whatever magic that was and whatnot from Bavarda.
Visions.
Yeah, that they were experiencing. That was actually interesting. I like that. That connective tissue to the original film. And then also that probably was for me the highlight of the whole episode. Probably was all that stuff and whatnot when they played all that and whatnot out. The deal with Alora's mom and everything and whatnot was actually kind of like heartfelt and somewhat emotional. But that's pretty much it.
I haven't talked about that yet, but okay.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I'm just trying to think of something positive to say. That's all.
Don't lie. Don't lie. Naughty, Jeff. Naughty. Anyways, thank you.
DD Mega Doo-Doo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that doo-doo. She's so hard to get rid of. Anyways. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So as we move on, that's after we go back and they slather that stuff on his arm, as you had mentioned, or on his chest there, and it starts to kind of work on him and stuff like that. That's when we go. Basically, they start chanting, and they're chanting and they're chanting, and they're trying to do this to get the possession out of Graydon. And as they're doing it, all of a sudden he kind of lifts his head up and like says, "I need water." And so they give him water, and then he starts like saying different things to different people, and like making them think and like make them question and stuff like that.
I thought he was Mad Mardigan there for a minute. I did. I swear to God, I thought he was possessed by Mad Mardigan. Did you think that too?
No.
Okay.
I did not. No. So as that happens, that's when, you know, like Willow's like, we don't need you here. Get out of here. And basically Kit leaves out of the room. And basically then it goes back to Laura and Willow doing the things, trying to say the words and stuff like that. And the demon is trying to, like, once again, come between them and cause them not be able to do the spell. And at one point he says, you know, tell her the truth about what you see in your visions. And he's like, don't pay attention to that. And she's like, and Alora starts kind of questioning that. And he's like, you know, if you can't do this, then just leave and I'll take care of it. And so she leaves and kind of starts off pouting type of deal. And that's when she goes out into the hallway of some sort there, and Kit's there sitting on the floor, and she comes out and she's like, I just needed a breather, all right, you know, because, you know, her and Kit don't really get along. And so as they start kind of having a conversation, and that's when Kit's about to tell her that, yes, your magic does work. You did make that tree grow. You made that bush grow. And before she can do that, she's like, do you hear that? I hear a woman. That voice sounds so familiar. And that's when she goes off and she has her visions. And basically she's shown her mother and herself as a child, basically being trying to be killed. And basically the mother sacrifices herself to save Laura Danon. And so she kind of, you know, finds out this information about her mother and kind of what went on. And, you know, and basically finds out more about her mother's death from these visions. Basically after she has that happen, that's when she goes back to the throne room, or to the entrance area where Graydon and Willow were, and Willow is missing, and all of a sudden Graydon's free, and he says, yeah, he got it out of me, and now it's in him, and we got to go find him and stuff like that. And you know, get all that stuff, and you know how they, you know, that we need to go find him, that we need to help him get out of him, because he's supposedly all better now. He's like, I still have a little bit of this going on, but he got the demon out of me and stuff like that. And so that's when they basically start going looking for Willow. And as they're searching, you know, all of a sudden Graydon's like, where would I go if I was Willow and I was a demon? And you know, he looks at, you know, Alora, and she goes, the tower. And so then they go to the tower. And they make their way up there. And so then it flashes back to Kit, and she's kind of searching around after, you know, looking for Alora again, after she walks off saying she's hearing the voices. And that's when she has another vision, and all of a sudden the main bad guy, guard guy that was in the first film, pops up, and she has to, you know, she sees a little bit of. And then, but that, sorry, take the back. It's Jade that sees that. Jade's looking for somebody. She's all out there, and she all of a sudden sees that guard, and she starts fighting him and starts battling him a little bit and stuff like that. And all of a sudden it moves the Kid again, and it shows her, and she's like searching around. She's seeing things again. And then all of a sudden they meet in this room, and they're kind of like freaking out and stuff like that. And all of a sudden they're like push themselves up against the door, and all of a sudden Boardman comes in, and is basically, he's like, yeah, it's me. And they have like this conversation, like, how do we know it's really you, Boardman? And he's like, tell us something only Boardman knows. And he like basically says, I know you two have the hots for each other. And they're like, oh, okay. And they let him in, which was actually pretty funny. And they're like, no, we really don't really. But it's like, yeah, right, you know. And, you know, he comes in, and we'll stop right there. So anyways, so yeah, so we'll stop right there, like I said. But Jeff, you have a trailer you would like to share, sir.
Oh yeah, I dropped the Willow trailer. We haven't watched it in a while and whatnot and everything. I thought it'd be nice to watch it again, since we haven't seen it since episode 1. Britt, did you see the trailer for Willow?
No, let me see it.
You think you know what is real and what isn't. What is light? What is dark? Now, forget all you know. Come with me. Willow.
We're looking for the sorcerer, Willow. I was told that once long ago you defeated the forces of evil.
You remind me of your mother.
My dear friend, I thought I could prevent all this. I was wrong.
My brother was abducted. The world needs you again. It needs your magic.
Follow me. We must go beyond the edge of our world, into the unknown.
Willow!
I need your help.
Just like old times. Attack! Running! Horses! Mayhem! Mayhem! Happy to see it.
Our true enemy is still out there, rallying the forces of evil. And the only thing standing in its path is us.
I'm going to enjoy this.
If you're thinking what I'm thinking, so am I.
I doubt that very much. Take him to my tent and make sure he's tied up.
I don't know. See, that kind of sounds like we're on the same page.
When I was a kid, I used to play at being a sorcerer, visiting strange worlds, fighting monsters.
Run!
Never thought I'd actually really do it.
What the hell is that?
Trolls. I'm so miffed.
We have to hurry.
How will you defeat us?
Same as last time. With my friends.
All
Nice.
right. Trailer, people. So let's just get everyone's thoughts on the trailer. Since this is your first time seeing it, Brittany, what did you think about the trailer?
It's too good to be true. It made
Yes.
it it made it seem like it was gonna be some Lord of the Rings, House of Dragons type of show, and that's not really what I've been getting so far. It's been a really slow build, But when I first saw it, I was just like, yes, this is what I'm gonna see. This is great. No, Brittany, calm down. This is not what you've seen. this is okay. They did an amazing job with making that trailer and building up the anticipation. But the show, I like the show so far, but it is a little lackluster. It's a little slow build.
Excellent. Yeah, that's what was my thoughts. Like, just rewatching this trailer now is like, holy crap, this trailer makes the show look so much different than what it is, where there's so much more what's the word? Disposition. More.
Disposition?
Disposition. Thank you. For the show, I mean, there's so much more filler in the show than what this trailer showed, because mostly the trailer shows you like most of the action and most of the like good story. So that's basically how usually trailers are. They're to get you enticed, and
they flat out lie to us, Cyber.
Yeah, exactly. They do.
They're liars and cheats, and they're taking all my money.
Exactly. All that money, all that hard-earned money.
On Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. Yep. Very true. Very true. Jeff, same question, sir. What was your thoughts on the trailer, seeing it again after the last 3 episodes?
Didn't some ruling come out today or yesterday or some shit that like you can't false advertise in trailers anymore or whatever, or you can be sued legally?
Okay, let's get together and sue them.
No, I swear to God, didn't that just happen?
I don't know.
I have not heard anything to that effect, but okay.
Yeah, I swear to God. But anyways, no. All I can say is just that to mimic what you guys said, based on that, it's like me and Simon have been talking about recently. Trailers are just getting so good nowadays. All trailers are good for everything nowadays. It can be the fucking worst shit ever, and like the trailer's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, not all trailers are perfect and are all great, but in this case, I don't want to say that they picked like the best spots of the series or something, and that's just all we saw there.
That's how it feels.
Well, kind of. I'd say there's a little bit of that, but also in a trailer, in a 2-minute trailer, right, with the music and everything and whatnot, right, and all that and everything, and the quick shift from scene to scene deal and whatnot and all that, right, you can create suspense. You know what I'm saying, and whatnot and all that, and you can create impactful moments that kind of like catch your attention and whatnot and everything, because you've got the combination of that 2-minute timeline to work with, and then you can pick and choose what you want to connect together from scene to scene, image to image throughout the trailer. Plus, you can mimic the music to it, right, and change it up and down with the audio and the volume and whatnot and everything, right, to build suspense. At that point, what I'd say is, if anything, this trailer had so much more energy and authenticity and legitimacy to it in terms of how it reflected what the acting was going to be like and how legitimate the story was going to be, that compared to what we're actually getting, I'm sorry, but there's a vast contrast.
Yes, ditto. I agree. Cyber, what do you think?
Most certainly. I totally agree with you guys. I've noticed that with trailers over the years that, they're always going to show you the best parts of the film to get you enticed to want to go see it. And that's just marketing. That's just how they pull you in. And this trailer is, just like all the others, it was meant to entice you, to want you to watch it. But also at the same time, not all trailers are equal. So I definitely think this is one of the better trailers they brought out this year that really got you enticed for it and wanting you to want to watch it.
How about Andor? The Andor trailers actually perfectly mimic exactly what you get from Andor, I think.
I would agree with that. Yes, most certainly it does. They did a pretty good job with those two as well. Where, unfortunately, most of the time there are scenes in trailers that don't even make it into the movie, which is very common too with trailers these days. So, it's kind of a hit or miss with the trailers, but it was nice re-seeing this trailer. Once again, it shows why the show seems so interesting to want to watch and all that kind of good stuff. So that was, nice to watch again.
Real quick, Cyber, you know what? I think, honestly, the reason why they chose not to do any promo mini trailers or anything like that for the episodes for the Willow series are because of the fact that, honestly, I think that they made a strategical decision that they wouldn't be able to put enough material. It would be like the trailer if they did it. It just would not contrast well enough to like the actual overall quality of the episodes. So I think that at that point they said, "Fuck it, we're not doing it."
Yes, they did. They said, "Fuck it."
Seriously.
Probably, yeah. Yep. So I mean, that's I wouldn't be surprised. That's a very valid point, Jeff. And that possibly could be it. You never know. Most definitely. Yeah. So all right. So moving on. So we go back to after the vision for Elora. After we go back to Borman coming, them letting them at Jade and Kit letting him in. That's when we go back up to the tower and where Graydon and Elora are. And of course, at that time, Elora finally finds out that, Graydon is not fixed, that he is still possessed, and that he's going to try to finish the ritual that Mad Morda was trying to do when she was a baby. So as he's kind of pulling her towards him, that's when Willow finally pops back up. And they start to kind of fight, and Willow gets kind of knocked out at one point, and and Graydon's still pulling Elora towards him to do the thing. He basically starts to do the ritual a little bit, and she kind of arches her neck back, and all of a sudden her eyes go white, and that's when Willow gets back up and basically says what he says, and then that's all of a sudden when. Boom, that's when Borman, Kit, and Jade all pop up into the room. And basically, that's when Willow does his magic spell thing that he does, and all of a sudden pushes Graydon out and basically stops him from doing what he's doing to Elora. and Laura falls down and is kind of knocked out for a second. And as you know, Graydon's kind of knocked out too. They go over and they pull him over and basically take two of his arms and press him down. And that's when basically they, Willow's like, it's up to you, Laura. You're the one that has the power. And Kit basically, finally mentions to her, she's like, you do have the powers. You were able to grow that bush. This is what I was trying to tell you before. And that worked. You have this power. You are a Laura Danon. And so she's like, basically that pep talk gets her and she's like, oh, okay. And she walks over and she bends over Graydon and starts doing her thing, like basically and pulling the demon out of him through his mouth by inhaling it. And you're kind of like, as you're watching this going, what the hell? What kind of crazy shit is this? I'm like, are we watching? What am I watching here? Is this a horror film? What? It made me think of another movie. I forget what movie it was where that happens. And somebody's like, pulling out something through somebody's mouth, trying to get something out of them to save their life or something like that. And it was
why does it always go through their mouth?
Yeah, I don't get that. But anyways, definitely agree there. But as she's doing that, she starts to get visions, and she gets visions of Graydon when he's younger with is it his uncle, a relative? I can't remember. I remember them kind of mentioning it at one point when he's possessed in the Great Hall area, when he's seeing the visions of his father or of that person. And I believe they mentioned what his name was, but I can't remember exactly what relative it was, but it was some sort of relative. And it shows him they're sitting on like this tree, and you can see there's something wrong with Graydon. He looks definitely there's something going on with him. And he's like, here, take my hand and I will always save you and stuff like that. And he basically grabs his hand and kind of starts to get up. And then all of a sudden he pushes the other guy over and basically kills him. And then goes to his, young Graydon space. And you can see there's something wrong, like very similar to how he looked when he first reveals that he's still possessed in the tower. And so,
maybe Queen Bavorda or whatever gave him like a ghost STD. You know what I'm saying?
Why does he have to have a ghost STD?
Spirit STD.
Why?
It's Jeff. What else do you expect? Anyways,
like 12.
Anyways, so as she pulls out and she has fully pulled out the demon inside of him, Lim, I believe is the name of the demon. You can see on her face, like what she just saw, she's like kind of freaked out. But then all of a sudden we see the demon leaving her from the back and going up the chute, just like how when Manmorda was killed, her spirit kind of went up that chute too. And so then he's finally back to normal finally. And he's like, whoa. And as he gets up, you can see Laura kind of looking at him a little crazy eyed. And so after that, they're all set and stuff. They shows them out and they're walking and they're going towards their next place because it's now the next day. And as they're walking, once again, Laura gives a weird eye look again. And as they're walking, and you can see she's processing what she has seen in the vision. Like, what's up with Graydon? There's something more to this person that meets the eye, basically. And as they're walking, all of a sudden it pans to the crones. And we see the crones and take the girl alive, basically. And basically you kind of figuring out that they're going to kill everyone else, but keep Laura alive. And as that happens, then it pans again. It goes to Eric. And I just got to get this out there. How they spell Eric's name in this is stupid as hell. I absolutely hate it. AIRK.
Stupid. I said in episode 1 that shit was stupid as fuck. It made no sense.
It's old English.
Cyber, I couldn't pronounce it. Remember? I didn't know how to pronounce it. I tried to pronounce it as like Eric or Eric or some shit.
Yeah, I know. And I know it's supposed to be old English. But it does not make sense as that way. I mean, I feel in old English they still would have been more similar to ERIC or even something that was more similar to that. But AIRK, it looks like Irk. It looks like Irk, not Eric. Yeah. But anyways, I just wanted to say that. I just had to say that because it was annoying.
It's okay, Cyber. Speak your truth. It's a support system, okay?
Oh, thank you, Brittany. And so we go to Eric, and he's waking up inside his cell, and then he kind of turns his head around and notices the door's open. It's like, what's going on here? So he ventures out, and we see him, and he's walking through these halls and outside into like this area. And then all of a sudden, he decides he's going to climb up something, a wall basically, and he ends up climbing up this wall. And all of a sudden, we see this huge city that's basically looks abandoned, and then it goes to the credits. Whoa. Anyways, so that is how the episode ends. That's where we end. So let's get your guys' thoughts on this conclusion of this episode. The whole end sequence with them taking care of Graydon, Alora seeing the vision of Graydon, and the Crones, and Eric, finally seeing Eric for the first time now in, I think it's been 3 episodes. I don't think we've seen him since episode 2 or 1. So what were you guys' thoughts on that whole ending of this episode? Starting with you, Brittany.
Okay, so this was my favorite part, was the end. And not because it was the end, but because it was like the most action, the most bringing it together made sense. The only part, like, okay, so let's go. Okay, Cyber, I might need your help to set it up for me. But let's go to the first part that we talked about where they all came together in the tower. First off, I got mad because didn't he tell your butt that you don't go to the tower? Lorna, why are you in the tower? Take your little blonde butt back to where you were supposed to be at, where it's safe. You want to have a tissy fit and not be where you're supposed to be because Willow asked you to leave. What's going on? Give me tea, sis. I need to know because you're not listening. Aren't you tired of having to be rescued? It's too much. So that was the first part. And then I was like, how did they all know to come in at the same time? Everybody came in at the same time. They didn't have cell phones back then. They had no way to signal. But all of a sudden, we're all in the same room in this big ass castle. Where they do that at? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay. Anyway, I really like the fact that she came into herself. She stopped being this meek, mild little girl and finally came into her womanhood and was like, yes, I can do this. I care about Graydon. I really think she cares about Graydon more than she cares about Eric at this point. That's what it looks like. She's taking Kit's man, and that's why they don't get along to begin with. Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so then I love the fact that she came in, she honed in her powers, she saved Graydon. But the twist was, as she was saving Graydon, she actually saw within Graydon this evilness. And that part, I was like, ooh, so you like him and you want him to be your bae, but you see that he has a dark side. What do we think about this? We need to have a talk. So I like that there was a positivity to it. But there's also a twist with it. So yeah, you got to see within him and know the story that he hasn't been telling you. But at the same time, you see what the story is, and you're like, I don't know if I really want to know anymore. So I like that part. Then when they start walking, I wanted, is his name Borman? The guy that I like?
Yep, Borman.
That's my future bae, y'all. I want Borman. I want Borman to have to do more because I saw that Borman had the little, what was that thing that he had that he opened up his little flap in his pocket?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I had no idea what that was. I feel it's something he found in the castle, I feel. Because I haven't seen that before.
I was like, was that what he was looking for the whole time and he finally found it?
Maybe.
So that was really interesting aspect of it. And what is it that he found? And why is it such a secret? You know? And then the next part is, how are the Crones going to get her? What are they going to do? Like, is it by any means necessary? Or are they going to wait till everybody goes to sleep and just snatch her little butt away? And Eric just gets on my nerves. I feel like Eric is just in the way. Like, he's like there's no purpose to him. His grandma didn't even talk to him the whole time he's locked up. And Kit is here for 5 minutes and she's talking to Kit. Eric's been here for weeks. Okay? If she don't care about Eric, that's all I'm trying to say. We don't care about Eric. I'm going to get a shirt that says, we don't care about Eric, and it needs to be spelled this way.
Okay, all right, awesome, thank you. Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I absolutely loved pretty much the majority of this episode. I really did. I thought it was really fun. I liked the whole idea behind it, them having to depossess Graydon. I like the whole concept. I like that they saved him. I like that, we're kind of finding out a little bit more about him and that he has more of a past. I like all the interactions throughout the castle. I love that they took us back to Mad Morva's castle too, and giving us that interesting history to the original Willow film. So
Didn't you want to see a pig or two?
Yep, that was funny. And then especially when, Willow comes in and says, "Didn't I tell you not to go to the castle?" That was absolutely perfect. That was fantastic. Absolutely loved that. All right. Awesome. Jeff, same question to you, sir.
The best part of the entire episode, the whole episode, not just the final third there, but the best part of the whole episode was the Soundgarden's cover at the end of the song. At the end of the episode, that Soundgarden cover was fucking dope. No, I don't care. I'm not saying the cover was that great. I'm saying the choice of Soundgarden's Black Hole Sun coming off of Metallica Enter Sandman last week is dope. Like, this is good. This is going to be a solid. One thing I will say is this soundtrack is going to be solid, folks. Like,
they should have just paid to get the Soundgarden version.
Well, yeah. I like. No, you don't think it's cool to get like that they're trying to be gimmicky, have covers and everything and whatnot.
Not unless they're really fantastic at covers. Yeah, no. I want the original, or I don't want it at all.
Well, I don't think they had on the budget of Willow. I don't think they could afford real. They needed the knockoff Chinese versions of.
We're talking about Disney here. They made a $2.5 billion film in 2019. They had two other $1 billion films within the last 2 years of that. Then this year the end of last year, they had another $1 billion film. I think they could have afforded it.
All right, Cyber, talk your shit.
That's what I want to know. All right, so check it out. What I want to know is what guys out there actually when they go on dating sites or some shit and they see these fucking ads like that say like with links that say, come to my like live stream or come to my website or whatever, and I'll suck your dick or I'll give you a blowjob or whatever, right? What fucking guy out there actually believes when he gets that shit that like he's actually gonna follow this link to some shit or whatever, and somehow magically he's gonna get a fucking blowjob out of it? Like, who out there believes that shit and actually follows the link?
Yeah, you need to do a poll on your page and see.
Look, I want whoever that
do a poll. I bet you people will respond.
I want to interview these men. And understand their logical thinking at the point that they think that
children. PSA: don't go to these sites.
I'm honestly, I actually got sexually rejected and shot down and ghosted and blocked by a bot on a dating site. A bot, yeah. That's how weak my game is these days. A bot like blocked me. Because, like, straight up, yeah, I mean, I was like, look, you're giving me to send me this message. You're telling me that, like, if I come to follow this link or whatever, whatnot, you're going to suck my dick. Like, this sounds good. Like, I'm liking this whole deal. The premise is good here on my end. But what I'm wondering here is, like, basically, if you have this mutant ability or whatever to be able to fucking, or magical ability to be able to, like, give head through screens and shit and whatnot. Why are you just kicking it as a bot? Like, why don't you try to up your position and shit? In life, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you get paid or what the benefits are like as a bot, but like, I mean, did you ever consider applying to like the X-Men? You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, I mean, fuck, man. At least when you join the X-Men, like, you get the status. You're an X-Men person, like, or whatever. And so, whatever. So the bot responds to me before she blocks me. She's like,
now, people, there are no bots in Willow. Just FYI, no bots in Willow.
She messages me back, the bot, and she's like, I like DC Comics. Fuck you. Fuck Marvel. And then she blocked me. Yeah. Fucking bot, man. I'm telling you, she did not like what I said to her. So it's all right. That's okay.
Well, it's not your fault. It's okay. Okay. You spoke your truth.
Hey, I
Just
have.
your-
You'd be amazed at some of the conversations I have with bots. Sometimes you don't even know. I have full-on conversations with some of these bots. I do.
As you
They can.
should.
They're
Got
deep.
so many bots. I don't know why.
Deep. They're
You
deep.
should. They're interrupting your life. You need to interrupt their life too.
I ask some questions. I'm just like, I'm like, look, you do understand, right? That I do know that you're not going to be able to give me a blowjob like through this link, right? Like, just so we're clear, like, I know it's not going to happen. So, I'm obviously not going to follow the link. It ain't going to happen. Then why are you wasting your fucking time?
Willow
But-
would be more interesting if we talked about if they had bots trying to suck dick on Willow. It would be more interesting.
Listen, just to try
I'm
to like
sorry, Cyber.
just to try to make Willow more exciting after the episode 4 recap, I ended up as a hashtag on all the platforms, lesbian sex as a hashtag for the show. as a connection to like the Kit Jade thing, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, fuck lesbian sex, why not? Let's throw it in there. Because you know how much guys like that shit, right?
Well, they said they were really into it to Borman, so I mean, I guess that could work.
I mean,
Borman
is the bad boy that we all want.
Oh,
Everybody loves
that's
Borman.
right. In real life, if this was in Disney, Borman will be doing a threesome with Kit and
Don't
Jade.
say that. No, we're not sharing Borman.
Oh
He's
shit!
only one
No sharing.
person. No sharing.
And he's a tall, big motherfucker too. He's probably got a big dick, I bet.
You never know.
Don't
you can't take size to measure penis.
If Renee Loki's mom was here, she'd be all about that. She loves that shit. She's all about the big penises. Right, Renee? Wherever you're at, we love you, sweetie. I'll see you on Sunday. That's right. We're actually doing a show on Christmas, believe it or not. We're doing a Bleeding Edge Christmas special, Navy. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, that's cute.
Bleeding Edge style.
Yeah, Christmas special, Bleeding Edge style. So no,
X-rated?
No, well, it's not gonna be X-rated. But it will probably be.
It'll be X-rated.
It will be X-rated.
It will probably be Y-rated.
Y-rated?
No. X. It's X.
But no.
Now, back to the question of the Willow series, please, sir, instead of bots.
So, okay, as far as like the end part goes and whatnot and everything. All right, for one thing, somebody please explain to me, Cyber, Britt, explain to me, where the fuck was Eric at the end of the fucking episode? Where did he go? Like, I mean, I thought he was like kidnapped or whatever and whatnot. How did he end up wherever the fuck he went?
It was the castle. Can I do it, Cyber, a little bit?
You certainly can.
Okay, so Eric was locked in the castle, right? The castle was where he was locked at in his prison cell. The door was unlocked. There wasn't a chain lock or anything. So when he got up, he looked and saw that he was able to walk out. So he was nervous at first and very leery. And then he opened the door and he started walking out very carefully because he wasn't sure what he was going to run into. But we don't really see where he goes. He's just walking. And then it cuts off.
Well, it looked beautiful. Wherever that city was. Do we know what that was, Cyber? What that city was, or whatever that?
The desert-looking place.
I mean, basically, they don't tell us what the abandoned city is. It's just an abandoned city. We don't know. They haven't mentioned what it is yet. We'll probably find out in the next episode.
Some of the statues and everything were really cool looking. They really were.
Yeah.
I thought there was some of the architecture and whatnot. Although it looked like it was kind of like broken down, it actually looked kind of cool.
It was beautiful cinematography.
Yeah, no, it was great. Basically, as far as like, again, those final scenes, again, I did think it was cool that they went ahead and connected, and they even played flashback scenes from the original film, with the Queen, Bob Morta and everything and whatnot and all that, and brought in, the impact and the effect of the dynamic with Alora's mother, right? And all that and everything. That was really cool. Well done. The deal where like Kit was the person to talk to her or get through to her to get her to believe in herself with her magic and shit and whatnot doesn't make any sense to me, because Kit's a cunt. Like, she's a complete fucking asshole. Like, every episode, she's a straight dick. Everybody, she's a prick. She's like a fucking pussy. She's like a fucking twat tease to fucking Jade all the time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if Jade's gonna end up like fucking becoming straight by the time the end of episode 8 of Willow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she's gonna lead the lesbian community because of the kid. Just to be clear, but which is
could be bi.
I hope she is, and that because I think that's awesome. But anyways, no. You already brought this up earlier. And I didn't say anything about it. The little bit of action we did get where we saw Aaron Kellerman, Jade, fighting Commander what's his name, Kale, General Kale, with the sword. She's good with the sword, man. She looks good. Like she looks authentic. Like she looks like she can even like she's strong enough to like wield it and everything and whatnot and like swing it. Swords are not light, folks. Like they're fucking heavy. Just to be clear, like especially back in the day, like they were even heavier. So they were not easy to fucking wield. Like they were heavy. So like a woman has to be fucking strong to swing a freaking like medieval times type sword like that. No, she looked good. And I like the aspect. I like how at least with Graydon, at least with him, his character is evolving. Like he has interesting, suspenseful shit going down. Like, we don't know what the hell his deal is now. You know what I mean? Like we don't know what his past is really all about. Like what the real deal is. He could be evil. Like who knows? That shot where they showed the what do you call it? The Gales, right? And what's his name? The one with the fucking box on his head, the Scourge and all that shit and whatnot again and everything and all that. That was dope looking. I like that. They look cool. Like, seeing them and whatnot and everything and all that. They're a cool element to the show. I wish that they'd have more of the Gales in there and whatnot and everything, like in some way. To be more having more action would be great. It really would be. I'm sure we'll probably get more in the later episodes. But overall, like I said, the highlight for me was the Soundgarden song, just because it was Soundgarden. I love Soundgarden. And the visuals, even though Eric is fucking basically pointless in the series, like he's useless, he might as well not even be there. At least we got those great visuals there in that final scene. So that's a positive.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. All right. So
that was my filler response right there.
It's filler response, people. Filler response. Awesome. That would be a perfect filler answer. I would suggest and say, and I would agree. It was. And anyways, so that is the end of the episode, folks. That is the end of this review. We want to thank everyone that's been in the comments. You guys have all rocked. You all have been amazing. And most definitely, Jermaine, what kind of action? Most certainly, sir. There was no action in this episode, sir. Most definitely. And I would agree. What action? But anyways, so like I said, that's the end of this review. We want, like I said, thank everyone that was in the comments, from Elle to Jermaine to who else do we have pop up? Of course, Jocelyn, of course, and you guys all are. And who?
Jyrek popped up.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, popped up.
Thank you.
Yep.
Popped up.
Posse showed up.
Awesome. Thank you all for popping up. You guys have been great. We appreciate you all being in our comment section. You guys helped rock this episode. And yeah, of course, we want to thank our panel. Want to thank Brittany for coming on. You were fantastic. It was great to have you on. And just to remind people of where they can find you again, please go ahead and plug your stuff again, please.
Thank you. So we have Tip of the Tongue Talks twice a week. We have, you can catch us on YouTube and other social media platforms. I'm the Brittany Nicole. You can find me on all social media platforms as well. I look forward to seeing y'all. Please like, subscribe, and comment.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. And of course, if you enjoy my moderating on here, if you enjoy me on the MCU'S, you can always check out my solo content under Cyberneticshark. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those great places. I'm all over the place. And I, like I said in past, podcast, you can find, you'll see some new episodes coming out. I just dropped today my Hocus Pocus 2 review. You'll be seeing my Indiana Jones trailer reaction popping up here soon.
It was amazing.
And you can check out all those things. I will have my Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumanium trailer reaction popping up. Me and Jeff still have to do ours, which we should be getting out there for you soon.
We should do that tonight, man.
Yep. We can do that. And also, I'll be having my review of the Hellraiser remake popping up here in the next week or so, along with my Halloween Ends review. I know it's not October anymore. It's going to be January here soon. But I recorded them back when they came out, but they're just getting published as you speak because I just have so much content to go through. But yeah, as you can see, as Jeff pulled up my page there, you can see I have all kinds of stuff you can check out. Guardians Holiday Special, unboxings, all that kind of cool stuff. So if you find me fun on there, definitely check that stuff out. Check out my shorts as well, too. Those are always fun to do. And yeah, I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you for everyone that's been subscribing. I'm currently at 459, so I am only 41 away from my 500 subscriber count I want to get by January 1st. So you guys have been awesome. Thank you. And if you guys that have not popped up, definitely get there and help out with that. And get me to that 500 mark before January 1st or by January 1st. You guys have been fantastic. Just want to show my appreciation. And as you can see here, you can see this is Brittany's page where you can go and subscribe and all that kind of good stuff. So definitely check that out. She was amazing on the panel, like I said. And was there anything you'd like to mention, Jeff?
Yes. Sadly, I can't screen share the video I wanted to screen share for myself to advertise some of my content, but that's okay. We probably shouldn't do that anyway because I don't know how YouTube would feel about all that. So
I think we would get banned.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't go so well, But Jermaine, what's up, bruh? Yo, how about you pick up the phone and give me a call, motherfucker? You goddamn hard to talk to, goddamn son of a bitch. No, I'm just kidding, man. You're my brother. But you are hard to get a hold of, dude. I'm telling you right now, man. I'm over here. You got me I'm over here trying to blowing you up, just trying to have a basic conversation with your ass. Let alone getting you on the bleeding edge. I got a shout out to Jermaine real quick and whatnot and everything. If not for Jermaine, I never would have met Britt. So hats off to Jermaine. He's good people. And we haven't had him on the bleeding edge in a long ass time, but every time he's ever guested and whatnot, he's been great. I've always had a great time recording with him and whatnot. He's a good friend. And so what a surprise. Fucking the people he knows and whatnot and everything that he introduces me to end up being really fucking good people. What a surprise. Like Britt. So thank you very much, Britt, for joining us and whatnot and everything. Thank you for enjoying the Bammy reaction we did, last night and everything. And yes, we'll get together after the holidays and whatnot and knock some more of those bitches out. And thank you to Cyber. If I don't have a chance to record, I'll talk to you before the end of the year, Cyber, before Christmas. But if I don't have a chance to record with you till then, Merry Christmas to you, brother, and Merry Christmas to you, Brett.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays. It's my birthday coming up too.
When's your birthday?
December 27th.
No shit. Well, you know what?
Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Yes, and and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody in the audience. Shout out to everybody out there that caught us live on all the different platforms that we're on that we cannot always see, whether you're there or not. Rumble, Twitter Live, Periscope, our Facebook page, Rumble, where we continue to grow, basically, hey, I just want to point out that we have a lot of really good content coming up. On Sunday, As of right now, it's going to be me and Renee and Loki's mom. I'm not sure if we're going to continue doing the MCU Phase 5, 6, preview stuff. If we're just going to just have like a straight shit show, get stoned, fucking talk shit, Christmas special type deal. We'll have to see. I'm trying to resurrect crackhead Whitney Houston from the dead to guest on the show to join us to see if she'll come on. We'll have to see how that goes out. But no, we've got good shit ahead of us.
Make sure she sings "I Want to Dance with Somebody."
I will, especially because you might want Super Bowl Whitney though for that one. You know what I'm saying? Her voice was a lot better.
Any voice, Whitney Houston, even towards the end, when she unfortunately passed in 2012, she still had an amazing voice. That woman could sing. That woman could sing.
Believe me, I'm an old school Whitney Houston fan for reals. I'll tell you right now. Like I don't have them now, but at one point back in the day, I owned like 4 or 5 of her fucking CDs. Better believe it, baby. Along with
The Bodyguard.
I had that one along with who I used to really really like back in the day was other than
Chili
TLC,
E.
In Vogue. In Vogue was one of my faves. I loved In Vogue. Yeah, Britt, I think what that was, honestly, you know what that was? That was my inner like sexual desire as a child, like coming out of me to have a foursome with 3 hot or 4 or 5-some with 4 beautiful, sexy African American women. Like even at age 11 and 12, like I was already developing like my bucket list, right?
Hot D.
You know what I'm saying? So, basically, instead of plugging, I don't really like to plug. All I'm going to say is just that please subscribe to the MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel. Okay, get us over to 10,000K. I'd really like to see us hit 10,000K by like early January, and I think we can do it. I do. I'm putting shorts out of 1-minute segments and 3-minute segments of our shows, trying to get that shit out and whatnot, and get more people pay attention, knowing about us and whatnot and everything. And so please subscribe, help us get to 10,000K, support the Bleeding Edge reactions. I'll have mine and Brittany's out soon. Make sure you support that. I want to plug my favorite, one of our heroes here on the show. See, now I'm sorry, but that to me, if they could have done something with the Willow episode 4 that was more like that, right? That would have worked for me. Britt, what did you think the first time I played that shit for you?
That was the first time that I saw that one. That was different.
I want to know what is it like to be a guest and come on the Bleeding Edge and do a Bleeding Edge reaction, and all of a sudden I throw some shit like that at you to start things off. Like, what are you thinking in your head?
What the shit have I got myself into?
Mm-hmm.
What did I do? Where am I
Yep.
at? What is happening right now? But I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Then I should do the baby leg chick too. Oh man.
Yeah.
I give her the full work, Cyber.
It was a wild night.
I can only imagine.
You do, of course, know about my alter ego, right? Britt. Gyno Man.
No, I didn't know.
The world famous gynecologist. Yeah, in my former life, I used to be a renowned, award-winning, Nobel Peace Prize winning gynecologist. And I was so good at it. I was so proficient at my job that unfortunately I was detrimental to society because I was fucking up marriages and shit and whatnot and everything, and causing women to have quadruple multiple orgasms and shit and whatnot during my basic, doing my job.
What?
Women were dying.
Did you write a paper about it?
Women were having heart attacks and shit and whatnot because of all the multiple orgasms they were having.
Seriously?
It's hard for me to find help pay for, find insurance like that I can pay, I can afford. And so basically I just stepped down and stepped back from what I loved and was good at for the good of society.
You got to do what you have to do sometimes. I totally understand.
That's right. like that, like Brie Larson right there. You know what I'm saying? Captain Marvel, baby. You got when you got a butt like that, you got to have a butt double.
Yeah, you do.
There you go, Britt. Listen, if you should check that out. You could be a butt double for Brie.
Actually, I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. Maybe one day.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think you guys would actually I don't think you would really match up to her. Like great shape. No. Nah. Anyways, folks. So like I said, we love all of you. Next week, of course, we're back at it. Wednesday night, we got Andor episode 9, I believe. Then of course we'll have Friday. We'll have episode 5 of Willow. We should have Felecia, hopefully, Britt's friend, on by then. Jen will be back. Yep. Jasmine, our favorite transgender guest that likes to give me panic attacks from time to time during shows. I'm sure we'll be back by then. She's taking the week off. Besides that, we've like I was telling you, we've got some great collaborations coming up. Lots of great shows, lots of great content. Should be fun. So have a great, rest of your year and whatnot and everything. God bless all of you. Thanks to everybody that helped us, help support me and Cyber and whatnot in the bleeding edge this year. And peace out, folks. Have a good one. That was a purposeful awkward silence I dropped on you, Cyber, just to fuck with
Galaxy.
you.
Yeah. Someone at the door, John, now I'm here to stay. Tell me who the fuck gonna face the music. More brick laying, less screen time. Been cutting back on the daily usage. Long road for the road dogs, for the weird minds. From the soapbox, got BKTs on this bitch, so everybody getting rolled on, yeah. Yeah, everybody getting rolled on. Check artist credits on BMI. I'm just too kind to expose y'all. And I see a team with a ghost sign and question if y'all ever wrote songs. All enemies are